Right, this is a quick demo of the new process we've been working on for a more joined up approach to coordinating moves, desk moves and IT kit moves across Seaton Court. So yeah, what we're going to look to do is introduce a single form for a requester to fill in. So this is just purely for people based at Seaton Court when they are requesting a desk move and IT kit move at the same time. So at the top of the form here, we've got an information box just telling them that this form is to be used for Seaton Court desk and IT equipment moves only. And if their move is just for IT kit only, then there's a link to the specific form that caters for just IT equipment moves. In here, we've just got a couple of statements to manage the requester's expectations, to say that if their move includes new furniture requirements, then the expected turnaround time is going to be at least 4 to 6 weeks whilst that furniture is ordered. If it's basically a move that's utilising existing furniture, then the turnaround time is going to be at least 15 working days. So yeah, just a couple of information bits there to pass back to the requester, but if we need to add anything else in there, let me know and we can get that added in there. So we're just going to run through a couple of test scenarios, test examples to show how this process works in the Marvel system. So we could have a brief description of move request here. So say moves required for new agile team. Yeah, so we're going to say we're going to be moving 4 people, put their names in here, out of their existing team. So names of the person being moved. We've then got a multiple selection drop-down box that they select here. So this is for them to say what they actually need to be moved. So we've got existing desk and chairs, an existing IT kit. So in this case, we're just going to say we want the existing desk and chairs moved. So then we've got a box moved from, moved to. So so just wherever in the building it is. Yeah, just a brief description in there. Ground floor south far under the wing, and they go into ground floor south westerly end of the wing. Business justification, so creation of a new team, agile working. Yeah, we've got the option here. So if they have got any kind of plans or something that they want to submit, so how they want to set up, they can add that as an attachment there. We've then got the field here, date when the move is required by. Again, you know, they need to consider this information at the top here. So in this case, let's just say they want this move to happen, I don't know, say by the 10th of June. Yeah. Any additional information, so if there's any particular furniture, you know, additional furniture requirements, etc., they could put them in here. In this case, for the purpose of the example, we're just going to say none, and then whoever the authorizing manager is, so in there. So that's the request submitted in the My Self Service system. So what I'll do now is I'll just open a Marvel session. Yeah, so this is Marvel session where those records are going to be logged. So what I'll do is for each of the teams involved in this process who have Marvel access, that's Anthony and the designated members of the ITIS team, I'll create a new work list here for you just so you can see all Seaton Court in-flight moves requests, so you can see where they are. So the one I've just logged here, you can see it's at the top of the list here. So if I just pull that one up, so the new process is when one of those requests is logged, it initially goes to Anthony here for approval. So if we just go in the email audit of this record, we'll see that me as the customer has received an email giving me my reference number, etc. But also Anthony has received an email letting him know that this Marvel record's been raised and assigned to him. He then has the hyperlink here that he can click on to load that record into his main screen. So Antti would pick this record up, he would look at it, he would then, if he needed to order furniture, he could start that process of ordering furniture. For the purpose of this example, in our example, we've said that there's no new furniture required. It's just existing desk and chairs, existing kit that needs moving. So at this stage, Antti could just go in and simply approve that request. So if we click on the actual workflow here that I've built for this, a nice simple workflow. So from being logged, Anthony has the option to either move it to a status called space planning required, he has approve move, or he has reject move. So we'll go through one that requires space planning in a minute, but for now we're going to assume this is a nice simple request. So Anthony would just move that status to approve move. You can see as soon as he moves it to approve moves, that record gets assigned to Gordon. So when we click apply now, what will happen is that the Marvel system will trigger an email to Gordon showing all of the information of the request. And this is where we're kind of passing information from emails back into Marvel, because Gordon, being outside of Lammer's staff, won't have access to the Marvel system. So what I'll do for the purpose of this demo, instead of triggering this email to Gordon, I'll trigger it to myself, so we can actually see what Gordon then needs to do with that email to progress the record. Yeah, so I just change that email in there and send that email to myself, and wait for that one to appear in my inbox, and then that email will contain information for Gordon to follow to ensure that the request is kept updated. So with this, normal rules apply in that as the customer of this record, I can track the progress of this through my self-service, and by this integration we put in place, I'll be able to keep abreast of all of the comments that are added by both those using Marvel and those not using Marvel. So this is the email that Gordon will have received. So basically saying notification of an approved move request logged by Laboratory. The following request has been approved by Anthony Dangar. Again, it's copied all of the information of the request here, because obviously Gordon wouldn't have access to Marvel. But this is the key bit at the bottom here. So we're saying, when you have spoken to the request originator and have agreed when this move will take place, you must select the link below and add the date when the move will be done. This will ensure the necessary records are raised with the HMLR IT support teams to coordinate the move of any kit. So when Gordon's picked this up and he's spoken to the request originator and agreed when the actual move will be taking place, to then trigger the necessary record for IS to do their bit, you need to click on the schedule move bit in the email. So that's a hyperlink there. That then opens up this automated email, and all you need to do is put in that email the date when the move is scheduled. So if we put scheduled for, I don't know, 12th of June, actually they wanted it on the 10th, so scheduled for the 5th of June, or whenever the relevant weekend that they're going to do the work is. So they do that, click on send. What that then does is, by sending that email is going to a mailbox that Marvel is scanning. So Marvel scans that mailbox every 30 seconds or so, and it will pick up that email and it will automatically update our Marvel record here. So this is basically a workaround, because our facilities people are external to Land Registry and they don't have access to Marvel, so we're using that email integration to pass the data between the two systems. So we'll just give it a minute or so and refresh this record, and we should see in a minute this status will change from approved move to scheduled moved when it picks up that given email. So that one there should be coming through in a minute, and you'll see what happens when that actual status moves, and we'll see that it then kicks off an additional record to ITIS. There we go. It's now changed the status of the record to schedule moved. It's reassigned the record back to Anthony. So if we look at the email chain here, so Anthony has got an email letting him know the latest update in the record, so Anthony knows when this move is actually going to be scheduled for. And if we look and say it's now in a status of schedule move, but what's actually been created on the back of that by moving to that status, the rule we put in place has meant that a sub record has been kicked off here. So if we click on the sub record that's just been created upon moving to that schedule move status, we'll see that a request for service is automatically raised and gone to the IT infrastructure support team. If they go into the history notes of that record, we can see that there's been a default entry added to the record saying that this is tied to a desk move being coordinated by ISS. Please click on the parent tick box above to see the details. So all RTIS need to do is click on parent tick box there, and they can see all of the notes that have been added to that parent record. So they can see that this move is taking place on the 5th of June. So they can then update this record and coordinate their moving of IT kit of when the actual desk is going to be moved. So ITIS then just work through that sub request in the same way, and once they've done the work, solve it and close it off. So that's stepping through a nice easy scenario whereby, let's say, there's no new furniture required, there hasn't been a need to negotiate with the space consultant or anything like that. So that should cater for the majority of kind of scenarios we get for moves. If we just step through another one now, and if we say for this one here, we'll raise another request, but this time I'm going to make it a bit more complicated, and we need new furniture, and it's going to be it's going to require some involvement from the space consultant. So I'll just raise that record there again. We'll go into the Marvel system. So that will be picked up on our list here. Yeah, so again, the initial record goes to Anthony to consider. So if Anthony picks this one up and says, actually, we need some space consultancy here, he would then amend the status here to space planning required. Yeah, so upon doing that, it then changes the assignee here to HM Land Registry Space Consultant. So upon click and apply, again, we're using the email mechanism to then send the information to the relevant team. Now at the moment we haven't got the email address of what the space consultant will be, so I've just put my email address in there, but basically what it is, it's a very similar email as to the one that Gordon was getting, but it's instructing them that once they've kind of spoken to the originator and kind of agreed a design, make sure that the plans are emailed to both Gordon and Anthony, and then to progress the record we need them to click on this link here. So again, I'll just send that email and we can work that through. So again, when that email comes through, I'll pull that up just to kind of replicate what the space consultant would be doing. So just waiting for that email to come through a minute. So again, that email is going to say we can amend the contents of the email, but the idea is that we use the email to instruct the space consultant to do what we need them to do, and then they click on the link within that email to ensure the record gets updated in a timely manner and then moved on to the relevant support team to complete the next part of the process. Just waiting for that email to drop into my mailbox. or actually no, what we can do, we'll just use the email from here because we can see the email there anyway from the email audit. Yeah, so what the space consultant would do upon receiving that email and completing their instructions to progress the move, they click on that link, put any additional details in there, and then click on send. And again, that will then send an email back to a mailbox that Marvel will scan to then go in and update that record to move it on to the next status. So at the moment, within our workflow, we're in the status of space planning required. So upon that email being picked up by Marvel, it's going to move it back to the approved move status in the process. So if we just refresh our record here, yeah, it's now moved the status to approved moved. It's therefore automatically assigned the record to Gordon. So Gordon will have got an email in here letting him know that a record's gone to him that's been approved, and he'll then pick up the process here and deal with his email. So once he's kind of agreed a date of when the actual move is going to take place, he'll click on schedule move. That will then move the status on again to schedule move, which will in turn trigger the automated sub-record to ITIS to do their desk move. So that's just a step through of what the proposed end-to-end process is. And again, after looking at this video, if you think there's any kind of amendments you'd like to see, we can get together and work them through and hopefully make this as efficient and as slick as possible.